Tonight, let your shoulders loosen just a little and allow your breathing to become slow and easy. In and out, like a quiet tide. As you listen, you don't need to remember every detail. You can simply drift along with the story, letting it wash over you in a calm, gentle way. We begin far from noise, far from crowded streets, on a small rocky island in the Aegean Sea. An island called Patmos. It is not a place of luxury. It is wind and stone, salt and sky. You can imagine the shoreline at dusk, the water darkening to deep blue, the air cooling as the sun lowers. Seabirds pass overhead, their calls soft and distant, and the waves keep a steady rhythm against the rocks. Again and again and again. On this island lives an elderly man named John. Tradition remembers him as a follower of Jesus, a witness to a life that changed the world. But here, on Patmos, he is not celebrated. He is exiled. He is away from familiar faces, away from the communities he once cared for, away from the ordinary comforts of home. And yet, in the quiet of exile, something opens. Sometimes, when life becomes smaller, when the horizon narrows, when there is less distraction, the inner world can become more spacious. The mind can settle. The heart can listen. The night sky can feel closer. John writes that he was in the Spirit on the Lord's day. You don't have to overthink that phrase tonight. You can simply picture a moment of stillness, a sacred pause, a sense that ordinary time has softened at the edges. Perhaps John is alone, seated on a flat stone warmed by the last trace of daylight. Perhaps a simple cloak rests around his shoulders. Perhaps he has learned the sound of every gust of wind in the island's hills, and the way the sea changes its voice, depending on the hour. The world around him is quiet, but not empty. The sea is present. The sky is present. The slow turning of the day into night is present. And then he hears a voice, not a whisper that fades, not a thought that dissolves, but a voice described as clear, like a trumpet strong, distinct, unmistakable. In the language of the book, it is as though the sound arrives with purpose, cutting through fog and fatigue. Write what you see, the voice tells him, and send it. Tonight, you don't have to carry the weight of prophecy. You can simply rest in the image. An old man on an island, hearing something that feels bigger than the island, bigger than empire, bigger than fear. A message that begins, not with chaos, but with attention. And slowly, in your imagination, turn with him, as if both of you are looking toward the source of the sound. Behind him, the air is cool. In front of him, the world is opening. There are 7 lampstands, golden, steady, glowing, and among them, a figure, luminous, calm, and overwhelming in presence. Revelation speaks in symbols, like a dream that carries meaning deeper than plain speech. So tonight, let the symbols be gentle. Let them be like constellations. You don't need to touch them to feel their order. The figure is described with hair white like wool, eyes like fire, a voice like many waters. These are not meant to frighten you as you fall asleep. Think of them as images of clarity, of purity, of power that is not frantic, but steady. White hair like snow under moonlight, eyes like a warm flame that helps you see, not a blaze that burns you. A voice like the ocean itself, fast, continuous, soothing in its immensity. John falls, overwhelmed, and the figure tells him, do not be afraid. If you take only one sentence into sleep tonight, let it be that. Do not be afraid. The island remains, the sea remains, the night remains, but something else remains too, an assurance, a steady presence, and a calm instruction to write. And as your breathing continues low and quiet and natural, we will follow the vision as it unfolds, one gentle image at a time. Patmos itself is small, but it sits inside a huge world. Beyond the horizon are shipping lanes, port cities, temples, markets, and the heavy machinery of Rome. Revelation was written in a time when imperial power felt permanent, like stone. Emperors demanded loyalty, coins carried their images, and the public life of the Mediterranean was filled with proclamations about strength and victory. For ordinary people, those proclamations could feel distant, and yet also unavoidable. Taxes, soldiers, laws, and rumors traveled quickly. Communities of early Christians were scattered across the region, meeting in homes, trying to live quietly, trying to stay faithful, sometimes facing suspicion, sometimes pressure, sometimes real danger. Jonah's message is addressed to 7 churches in Asia, minor places with ordinary names that once held ordinary lives. Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. You can imagine them tonight as 7 small points of light, like lanterns on a coastline. Not perfect, not all the same, but present, and the image of the lampstands becomes tender when you let it. A lamp is not a sun. It does not flood the world with brightness. It simply keeps a small flame alive, enough to guide a few steps, enough to warm a room, enough to remind a traveler that they are not alone. In Revelation, the figure walks among these lampstands, as if to say, I see you. I know where you are. I have not forgotten. So, as you settle deeper into your bed, you can let those lampstands represent your own small lights or small efforts, your quiet endurance, your unseen kindness, your willingness to keep going even when life feels heavy. A lamp does not panic. It simply burns. And if your mind is busy tonight, if thoughts keep circling, you can imagine placing each thought gently into the care of one lampstand, one by one, until the room of your mind becomes calmer, warmer, softer. John turns again toward the voice. The vision is beginning like a doorway opening. Not a door that slams, but one that slowly swings wide. And with that, the first page of the vision is set. An island, a listening heart. 7 lights, a steady presence, and one simple command. Write what you see. In a moment, we will move from the shoreline of Patmos to the next scene upward, into a vast, symbolic throne room. But we will go there, slowly. No rushing. Only a gentle step from one image to the next, like walking along the edge of the sea, where every wave arrives in its own time. Blocked to a door open in heaven, the throne room. Keep breathing slowly, as if your lungs are remembering how to rest. In and out. And in your imagination, the scene changes with the softness of a dream. John says, A sees a door standing open in heaven. Think of it as an invitation to perspective, a widening of the view, not an escape from the world, but a way of seeing beyond the surface of it. He is called upward, and suddenly the vision becomes vast. There is a throne central, steady, unshaken, and the one on the throne is described with the language of light, like jasper and carnelian, radiant and clear. Around the throne is a rainbow, like emerald and arc of color, gentle and alive, encircling the center. If you have ever watched light move across water at night, you may know how calming it can be. A shimmer, a slow dance. Revelation uses that kind of imagery. Glow as brightness, holiness as clarity, the center as calm. Around the throne are 24 smaller thrones, with elders seated on them, robed in white, with golden crowns. You don't need to count them tonight. Simply let the picture suggest order, not chaos. Community, not loneliness. A council of worship, not a courtroom of anxiety. From the throne come flashes of lightning and rumbling symbols of power. But notice, the throne does not shake. The center is steady. Even the stormy symbols serve the stillness of the core. Before the throne are 7 blazing torches, described as the 7 spirits of God. And near the throne are 4 living creatures, full of eyes, singing without ceasing. This can sound strange if you read it quickly in daylight, but at night, you can let the imagery be what it is. Dream language. Eyes can mean awareness, nothing hidden, nothing overlooked. Song can mean ongoing life, a rhythm like breathing, and the creature's lion, ox, human. Eagle can feel like the whole creation gathered. Wild strength, patient service, thoughtful mind, and soaring freedom. Their song is simple. Holy, holy, holy. If repetition helps you sleep, you might let those words become a soft pulse in the background of your mind. Not as pressure, but as peace. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, like wind and trees, like your own breath returning again and again to the same quiet place. And in the center, the one on the throne holds a scroll, written inside and out, sealed with 7 seals. A scroll suggests meaning, a story, a plan, a record of what is real. The seals suggest that the meaning is not instantly available, not cheaply accessed, not forced open by human impatience. A strong angel cries out, "Who is worthy to open the scroll?" In John's vision, there is a moment of sorrow, because no one appears worthy. John weeps. If that touches something in you, if you know the feeling of wanting answers, wanting justice, wanting clarity, then let the vision meet you gently. It acknowledges the ache, it names it, and then it moves forward. One of the elders tells John, "Do not weep, because there is one who can open the scroll. He is called the Lion of Judah." And then, when John looks, he sees not a roaring beast, but a lamb standing, as if slain. This is one of Revelation's deep paradoxes. Power shown through sacrifice, victory shown through love that endured suffering. If that feels heavy, let it soften in your mind. You don't need to solve it tonight. Just let the symbol rest. A gentleness at the center of strength. The Lamb approaches the throne and takes the scroll, and the whole scene becomes song harps, bowls of incense, which are called the prayers of the saints. Imagine prayers as warm smoke rising slowly upward. Not hurried, not strained, just rising, carried by the air. And the song expands. Worthy is the Lamb. The vision is like a widening circle, from the creatures to the elders to countless angels, to every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea. Everything, everywhere, joining a single harmony. If your day has been noisy, let this be your contrast. A cosmic choir, not shouting, but steady. A sound that holds the universe together. And as you lie there, safe in your room, you can borrow that steadiness. A throne that does not tremble, a rainbow around the center, a song that never runs out. It may help to remember that John is using the vocabulary of earlier biblical visions. Isaiah spoke of a throne and seraphim singing holy. Ezekiel spoke of living creatures, wheels, and shimmering brightness. Daniel spoke of an ancient of days with white hair and a court set in place. Revelation gathers these echoes like threads in a tapestry, weaving them into one night-bright picture. So we can imagine the throne room not as a strange new invention, but as a familiar sanctuary for the imagination, an inner template, where the heart learns that history is not only what we see on the surface. And notice how the vision is arranged. There is a center, and there are circles around the center. The closer you are to the throne, the steadier things feel. The farther out you go, the more movement you see. Lightning, sound, multitudes. That pattern can become a bedtime practice. If your thoughts are racing, picture them as being far out at the edge, like restless waves. And then, with each slow breath, picture yourself moving inward, one circle at a time, toward the calm center, edge to middle, noise to stillness, questions to trust. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to get it right. You're simply allowing the image to guide you into quiet. And as the lamb takes the scroll, you can feel the mood shift from tension to reassurance. Something that seemed locked is now held by hands that are gentle. Something that seemed unreadable is now ready to be opened in the right time. Even if you've never read Revelation before, you can let this part be simple. There is meaning. Tereis carderis estedi center, and you're allowed to rest while the world turns. Now, let your jaw unclench. Let your tongue rest in your mouth. Let your eyes feel heavy behind your eyelids. The throne remains. The rainbow remains. The song remains. And slowly, the first seal is about to open. Block 3. The opening of the seal's symbols held gently. Breathe in and out. Slowly, steadily, as if the night itself is breathing with you. Into vision, the Lamb begins to open the seals of the scroll. Each seal is like a threshold, a curtain pulled back, a layer of history revealed. The images can be intense in daylight, but tonight we will hold them softly, like distant thunder heard safely from indoors. When the first seal opens, a rider appears on a white horse. He carries a bow, and a crown is given to him, and he goes out conquering. Many readers have debated this symbol for centuries, some seeing victory, some seeing empire, some seeing the complicated nature of power. For sleep, you don't need to decide. You can let it represent the human hunger to dominate, the recurring pattern of conquest in history. The second seal opens, and a rider on a red horse appears, taking peace from the earth. Again, it is the language of symbol, conflict, violence, unrest. Not a single event, but a portrait of what humanity has always known. How quickly harmony can be disturbed. The third seal opens, and a black horse appears, with scales in the rider's hand. A voice speaks of rationed grain, of scarcity, of imbalance. This is the image of economic strain, of bread weighed carefully, of daily life becoming difficult. The fourth seal opens, and a pale horse appears. Its rider is called Death, and Hades follows. This is perhaps the most sobering picture of all. The reality that life is fragile, and that loss touches every generation. If these images stir unease, let yourself step back. You are safe. You are in your room. You are listening to a story. And the story is not celebrating these forces. It is naming them. Revelation does not pretend that history is clean. It looks at human suffering and says, yes, this is real. And by naming it, it refuses to let it be invisible. After the four horsemen, the fifth seal opens. John sees souls under an altar, those who suffered for their witness crying out, asking how long until justice comes. They are given white robes and told to rest a little longer. That detail matters for tonight. Even in the middle of heavy symbolism, the vision includes rest. The word is there. Rest a little longer. Not forever, but long enough for the story to reach its right conclusion. The sixth seal opens, and the language becomes cosmic earthquakes. Darkened sun, moon like blood, stars falling, sky rolled up like a scroll. These are not meteorological forecasts. They are symbolic ways of saying that the world we think is stable can be shaken, that false security can collapse, that the proud structures of human power are not ultimate. Imagine it like this. When a stage play ends, the set is dismantled. The painted backdrop is rolled away. The lights change. What seemed permanent is revealed to be temporary. And in Revelation, that unveiling is meant to move the heart away from trusting the set and toward trusting the one who holds the story. People in the vision hide and cry out, recognizing that they cannot stand on pride when the truth arrives. Again, if that feels intense, let it be distant, like reading about a storm far out at sea, while you remain sheltered on shore. Then comes a pause, one of revelation, before the next sequence continues. The vision shows a sealing, a marking, a protection. Servants of God are marked on their foreheads, not as a brand of fear, but as a sign of belonging, like a name written lovingly, like a promise that the faithful are known. And John sees a great multitude so. Many they cannot be counted from every nation, tribe, people, and language. They stand before the throne, robed in white, holding palm branches, singing of salvation. This is the counter-image to the horsemen. History contains conquest and conflict, scarcity and death. But the vision insists that there is also a countless community, gathered in peace, carried through. The multitude is described as coming out of the Great Tribulation, and their robes are made white. However you interpret that, the tone tonight can be simple. Suffering is not the final word. The final word is comfort. The one on the throne shelters them. They will hunger no more, thirst no more. The sun will not strike them, and God will wipe away every tear. Let those sentences be a lullaby. Hunger no more, thirst no more, no scorching heat. Every tear gently wiped away. And as your body grows heavier, you can feel the rhythm of the vision, naming what hurts, and then offering a deeper shelter. The horsemen, in a way, are like archetypes, painted figures that represent recurring patterns. They ride through centuries, not because God delights in them, but because the human story has been tangled with them. And by placing them on the page, Revelation places them inside a larger frame. They are not the throne. They are not the center. They are not eternal. They are allowed to appear, and then they pass. So you can imagine them moving like clouds across the moon. For a moment, the light is dimmed, and then the cloud continues on, and the moonlight returns, steady as ever. And notice something else. Even the intense moments are bounded. A seal opens, a scene appears, and then it ends. There is a limit. There is a boundary. There is a contained space for each symbol. That is comforting, because it suggests that chaos is not infinite. It has edges. It has a beginning and an end. Now, very gently, take a slow breath in. Hold it for a second, and let it out, long and soft. Imagine the throne room still above all of this, the rainbow still encircling the center, the song still continuing, the Lamb still holding the scroll. And in a moment, when the seventh seal is opened, Revelation does something surprising. Instead of louder noise, there is silence. Silence in heaven for about half an hour. Half an hour of quiet in the middle of cosmic drama. Half an hour where the vision pauses, where the universe seems to take a breath. Tonight, you can take that half hour and turn it into your own inner stillness. A pause between thoughts, a quiet space between heartbeats, a gentle hush that makes room for sleep. And now, the last seal is ready to open. BLOCK. For silence, trumpets, and the little scroll, a pause within the storm. Let yourself sink a little deeper into the mattress. Feel the weight of your body being held. Your breath is slow. Your face is soft, and you can allow the story to keep unfolding without effort. When the seventh seal is opened, there is silence in heaven. It is one of the most peaceful images in the entire book. A hush so complete that even angels seem to wait. In Tatkiet, 7 angels are given 7 trumpets. A trumpet, in ancient literature, is a signaline announcement, a wake-up call, a marking of time. But tonight, we will treat the trumpets as symbolic movements, like chapters in a dream. Another angel stands at an altar with a golden censer. He offers incense with the prayers of the saints, and the smoke rises before God. The image is gentle, prayers rising like warm mist. Then the angel fills the censer with fire from the altar and throws it to the earth thunder, lightning, and an earthquake. Again, symbol, a way of saying, what is prayed in secret matters. It does not vanish. It becomes part of reality. The trumpets begin. The first trumpet, hail and fire mixed with blood, falling on the land, burning 1/3 of the earth's vegetation. The second trumpet, something like a great mountain, burning with fire, thrown into the sea, turning 1/3 of the sea to blood and destroying ships. The third trumpet, a great star called Wormwood Falls, making waters bitter. The fourth trumpet, 1/3 of the sun, moon, and stars are struck, dimming light. These images can sound harsh, but remember, Revelation uses the language of cosmic proportion to speak about upheaval. It is not giving you a weather report. It is showing you, in dream language, that the world can be shaken, and that human arrogance is not immune. Also notice the repeated phrase, 1/3. Not all. Not total. Even in judgment imagery, there is restraint, limitation, a sense that this is a warning, not an annihilation. Then, between the trumpets, an eagle cries out, "Whoa! Whoa!" because the next blasts will be heavier. If that word "whoa" feels sharp, let it become softer in your mind. In Bible, woe often means grief, lament, a recognition that something is wrong. It is sorrowful language, not gleeful language. The fifth trumpet brings an image of a bottomless pit opening, smoke rising, and locust-like creatures. These symbols have been interpreted in many ways: spiritual oppression, destructive ideologies, tormenting forces that make life feel suffocating. The point is not to terrify you. The point is to name what it feels like when darkness seems to multiply. The sixth trumpet shows for angels released, and an army like an overwhelming flood. The language becomes dense, strange, and dreamlike again, as visions often are. And then another pause. Revelation breathes again. John sees a mighty angel coming down from heaven, wrapped in a cloud, with a rainbow over his head. His face is like the sun, his legs like pillars of fire. He stands with one foot on the sea and one on the land, an image of authority over creation, like a bridge between worlds. In his hand is a little scroll, open. The angel roars like a lion, and 7 thunders speak. John is about to write what they say, but a voice tells him to seal it up. Not everything is revealed at once. Not every mystery is placed into human hands. Some things remain covered, not out of cruelty, but out of mercy, because not all knowledge is meant to be carried at the same time. Then John is told to take the little scroll and eat it. It will be sweet in his mouth and bitter in his stomach. This is a quiet, intimate symbol. To eat a scroll is to internalize a message, to let it become part of you. And the sweetness and bitterness together tell the truth about Revelation. It can comfort, and it can challenge. It can soothe, and it can awaken. It can taste like honey, and still settle in the belly with weight. Tonight, you are not being asked to carry the bitterness. You can simply hold the sweetness. The sense that meaning is present, that the story is not random, that even warnings are part of love. John is told he must prophesy again about many peoples and nations and kings. The vision is not only private comfort, it is public witness. That for you, in this moment it can be private, gentle reminder that the world has a moral shape, and that the center holds as you breathe. Imagine the little scroll as a small, warm light in your hands. Not hot, not burning, just glowing, sweet as honey. Simple, steady. And if you notice your mind trying to analyze every detail, trying to map each trumpet to a headline, or each symbol to a timeline, you can give yourself permission to let that go. Revelation has inspired many charts and theories, but it was first meant to strengthen tired communities, to reassure them that evil is not invisible and that God's justice is not asleep. So tonight, treat the trumpets like wind chimes in a storm. You hear the sound, you sense movement, but you don't have to chase the source. You can remain still. The repeated a third can be especially soothing when you think of it as a boundary. A boundary means there is a limit. The night has limits. Fear has limits. Even suffering, in the long view of the vision, has limits. Now, take another slow breath in and let it out even slower. Imagine the island of Patmos again. Far below the vision, the sea is still rolling in. The rocks are still cool. John is still there, listening, writing, receiving images that are larger than himself. And yet the writing happens one word at a time, in quiet human handwriting. That is comforting, too. A cosmic message arriving through an ordinary person. A reminder that the vast can enter the small, and the eternal can speak through the simple. The little scroll is open. The message is present. Some parts are sealed. Some parts are sweet. And you are allowed to rest. Now, the story turns to the next set of symbols, like a new dream scene forming behind your closed eyes. Block 5, the woman, the dragon, and a war in heaven. Gym images, quietly held. Let your breathing be the anchor now. And out. Soft, unforced, natural. If your eyelids feel heavy, that is perfect. You can drift and still follow the story. Revelation shifts scenes again, like a dream that changes locations without warning. John sees a great sign in heaven. A woman appears, clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars. This image has been interpreted in many ways. Israel, the people of God, Mary, the faithful community, the story of promise giving birth to hope. For sleep, you can let it be broad and gentle. The image of life bringing forth life, light wrapped around a human figure, a crown of stars like a calm night sky. The woman is in labor, crying out in the pain of birth. Birth is intense, but it is also the beginning of new life. The vision is telling you that the coming of something good is not always easy, and yet it is real. Then another sign appears, a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns. Its tail sweeps a third of the stars from the sky. Again, dream language. The dragon is the ancient symbol of chaos, of oppressive power, of the enemy that seeks to devour. The dragon stands before the woman, ready to consume the child as soon as it is born. The child is caught up to God and to his throne, and the woman flees into the wilderness, where she is cared for. Notice, even here, in dramatic imagery, Terry is care, protection, provision in the wilderness, a hidden place. Then the vision shows a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon. The dragon and his angels fight, but they are not strong enough, and they're cast down. This part can be soothing when you remember what it means symbolically. Evil is not equal to God. Chaos does not share the throne. The dragon can rage, but it cannot reign. A loud voice declares that salvation and power belong to God, and that the accuser has been thrown down. Into vision, the dragon is described as the ancient serpent, the one who deceives. If you have ever felt accused by your own mind, by memories, by regret, this image can be a quiet comfort. Accusation is not ultimate, it is cast down. It does not belong in the highest place. The dragon, furious, turns toward the earth, pursuing the woman. She is given wings like an eagle to fly into the wilderness. The dragon pours out water like a river to sweep her away. But the earth helps her, opening its mouth to swallow the river. These images are strange, but they can feel tender if you let them. Wings given, a place prepared, the earth itself assisting, creation quietly refusing to cooperate with destruction. The dragon then goes off to make war on the rest of her offspring, those who keep the commandments of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus. The end of the chapter, the dragon stands on the shore of the sea, and from the sea, a beast rises under the symbol of oppressive power, often connected to empire. From the earth, another beast appears, deceptive influence, propaganda, false worship. Revelation will speak of marks and images and numbers of systems that demand allegiance. But tonight, we will hold this gently. You're not being asked to panic. You are being invited to recognize that evil can be systemic, persuasive, and loud, and that faithfulness can be quiet, steady, and enduring. The sea in Revelation often represents restless nations, unstable human politics, the churning of history. The shore is the threshold between stability and turbulence. So picture the scene calmly. Waves rolling in, dark water moving, and on the boundary, the dragon waiting. And yet, above the sea, above the beasts, above all the noise, there is still a throne. The center has not moved. The rainbow still encircles the calm. If you find these symbols too active for sleep, you can step back and watch them as if from a great distance, like watching a storm through a window. The storm is real, but it is not inside your room. Inside your room is quiet. Now let your shoulders drop again. Let your hands unclench. Let your breathing slow. The wilderness, in Scripture, is often a paradoxical place. It can be lonely, but it can also be where people are cared for. It can be empty, but it can also be where daily bread appears. It can be where voices are stripped away, so a quieter voice can be heard. So when the woman is taken into the wilderness, you can imagine it not as abandonment, but as refuge, a hidden valley, a sheltered cave, a calm place where the air is cooler and the noise is farther away, and the wings like an eagle can be felt as strength that arrives at the right moment. Not the strength to dominate, but the strength to endure. The strength to keep moving. The strength to rise above the immediate threat and find a safer path. Even the earth, helping swallowing the river, suggests that help can come from unexpected places. Sometimes the ground beneath you, the ordinary supports of life, do quiet work in the background. Sleep itself is like that. Your body restores you without asking permission. It repairs and rebalances you in the dark. Now, let your own body do its quiet work. Let your breathing be slow. Let your heartbeat be steady. And let the dragon, the beasts, the war, let them remain inside the pages of the vision. Contained, bounded, unable to cross the simple border of your calm. Because Revelation's purpose is not to steal your rest. Its purpose is to remind the weary that evil is seen, named, limited, and ultimately defeated. Above everything, the center holds, and you can rest. Block 6, The Lamb in the Mount. A song night monoxide one else can learn. As you continue resting, let the rhythm of your breathing remain slow and unforced, as if the night itself were guiding each breath for you. And allow the vision to shift once more, not abruptly, but with a smooth, drifting logic of a dream that knows where it is going even when you do not. John lifts his gaze again, and now the scene opens onto Mount Zion, solid and elevated, a place of stability after movement, of grounding after storm imagery. And there, standing at the center, is the Lamb once more, calm, present, unchanged by everything that has unfolded. With him are 144,000 marked not by fear or coercion, but by belonging. His name and his Father's name written on their foreheads, a symbol of identity that cannot be erased by noise, pressure, or threat. You do not need to calculate this number tonight or attach it to timelines or debates. You can let it function as it does in the language of dreams, as a picture of completeness, of a people fully known, fully held, fully accounted for, like a constellation whose stars are all in place, even when clouds pass in front of them. From heaven comes a sound, described as the roar of many waters, and like the sound of loud thunder. And yet, within that power, there is also music, something like harpists playing their harps, reminding you again that revelation often weaves together strength and beauty, force and harmony, never allowing power to exist without meaning. A new song is sung before the throne, before the living creatures and the elders, a song that no one else can learn except those who stand with the Lamb. This is not a song of exclusion, but of intimacy, a reminder that some truths are not transferred through explanation, but through experience, through walking, through endurance, through quiet faithfulness, lived over time. Just as certain memories belong only to you, certain songs belong only to those who have walked a particular path. The text says, "These are those who follow the Lamb wherever he goes," an image not of domination, but of trust, of choosing direction again and again, even when the terrain changes, even when the path narrows or widens unexpectedly. They are described with language of integrity, not as perfect beings without history, but as people whose loyalty is undivided, whose inner compass has been aligned. In the calm of your room, you can let that idea settle gently, not as pressure, but as reassurance, that wholeness is possible, that a life does not have to be flawless to be true. Then the vision shifts again, and John sees 3 angels flying in mid-heaven, each carrying a message that moves like a wave across the world. The first speaks of an eternal gospel, calling every nation, tribe, language, and people to recognize the one who made heaven, earth, sea, and springs of water. This is a wide, inclusive horizon, a reminder that the story has always been larger than any border, larger than any single culture, larger than any one moment in history. The second angel announces the fall of Babylon, that great symbol of arrogant power, excess, and injustice, the system that intoxicates nations with false security and hollow glory. And the third angel speaks with solemn warning about misplaced allegiance, about the cost of giving one's deepest loyalty to systems that demand worship but cannot give life. If those words feel heavy, allow them to remain symbolic, like road signs seen from a distance at night, not urgent commands shouted at you, but markers placed along the way, reminders that direction matters, even when the journey is long. Revelation is not rushing you, it is orienting you. It is saying, gently but firmly, that some things lead toward rest and others lead away from it, that some centers hold and others eventually collapse under their own weight. After the messages of the angels, John hears a voice from heaven saying, "Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on." And then comes a quiet, almost tender addition. "Yes," says the Spirit, "they will rest from their labors, for their deeds follow them." Let that word rest linger in your mind. Rest from labor, not erased, not forgotten, not dismissed, but completed, gathered, carried forward. This is one of Revelation's most restful sentences, tucked quietly into the middle of intense imagery, like a soft bed placed in the middle of a long road. Then John looks again, and he sees a white cloud, and seated on the cloud is one like a son of man, wearing a golden crown and holding a sharp sickle. An angel calls out, telling him that time has come to reap, because the harvest of the earth is ripe. Another angel appears, also with a sharp sickle, and yet another comes from the altar, calling for the gathering of the grapes of the earth. These harvest images can sound severe if read quickly, but at their core, they speak of completion, of cycles reaching their proper end, of seeds grown to maturity. Harvest is not chaos. It is order. It is the moment when growth reaches its purpose. You might imagine fields under a late sky, quiet, ready. The air heavy with stillness, the sense that something has finished growing and is ready to be gathered. There is no panic in a field at harvest time, only inevitability, a calm acceptance that seasons move forward. Revelation uses that image to say that history too moves toward an end. That is not random, not accidental, not forgotten. As these images pass before you, notice how your body remains still, how your breath continues its slow pattern, how none of the symbols reach into your room or disturb your rest. They remain on the page, contained within the vision, doing their work without demanding your vigilance. This is important, because Revelation was never meant to keep the faithful awake in fear, but to help them sleep in trust, knowing that even when the world feels loud, something deeper is steady. Mount Zion remains in the background of this block, quiet and firm, the Lamb still standing, the song still echoing in a way that does not fade. The marked ones are still there, not anxious, not hurried, simply present, and above them all, above angels and messages and harvest scenes, the throne still holds its place, unchanged, unshaken, encircled by the same calm that opened the vision at the beginning. So let this part of the story settle like evening dew, gently, without weight. You do not need to carry the warnings, the numbers, or the symbols into sleep. You can allow them to remain here, doing their quiet work in the background of the story, while you drift deeper into rest. The song continues. The harvest completes its cycle, and the night around you remains safe, dark, and still. When you are ready, the vision will move again, toward bowls, toward justice, toward the final undoing of Babylon. But for now, you can remain here, on the mountain, breathing slowly, held by the calm certainty that the story knows where it is going, even while you rest. Block 7, the bowls, the weight of justice, and the fall of Babylon. Remain still, and let your breathing stay slow and even, as if the air itself has become heavier and calmer, supporting you without effort. Because the vision now moves forward again, not to disturb your rest, but to deepen the sense that nothing in this story unfolds without purpose or boundary. John sees a sanctuary in heaven opened, and from it come 7 angels, carrying 7 bowls, filled with what Revelation calls the wrath of God, a phrase that can sound harsh, but which, in the language of Scripture, often means the settled, deliberate opposition of divine goodness against what destroys life. This is not explosive anger, not sudden rage, but the slow, inevitable exposure of what cannot endure. As the bowls are poured out one by one, the imagery intensifies, echoing earlier plagues from the book of Exodus, as if Revelation is reminding the reader that liberation has always involved the unmasking of oppressive power. The first bowl brings painful sores to those who have aligned themselves fully with the beast, not as random punishment, but as a physical symbol of inner corruption. Finally, the second bowl turns the sea to blood, and every living thing in it dies. An image that speaks of systems so poisoned that even the spaces meant to sustain life become deadly. The third bowl affects the rivers and springs, and they too become blood. And a voice declares that this judgment is just, because those waters have been used to shed the blood of saints and prophets. If these images feel heavy, allow them to remain distant, like dark clouds on a far horizon. Because the vision is not asking you to feel fear, but to recognize moral gravity, the truth that actions matter, that cruelty has consequences, and that the suffering of the innocent is not overlooked or erased. Even here, Revelation pauses to explain itself, to say plainly that this is about justice, not chaos. about balance being restored, not life being despised. The fourth bowl is poured on the sun, and it scorches people with intense heat. Yet the vision says they do not repent or give glory to God, choosing instead to harden themselves further. This is a quiet, sobering observation woven into the imagery. Suffering alone does not transform. Openness does. The fifth bowl plunges the kingdom of the beast into darkness, and people gnaw their tongues in anguish, again refusing to turn, again choosing defiance over humility. Darkness here is not merely the absence of light, but the inner blindness that comes when power is worshipped instead of truth. The sixth bowl dries up the great river Euphrates, preparing the way for kings from the east. And 3 unclean spirits like frogs go out into the world, performing signs and gathering rulers for what Revelation calls the Battle of Armageddon. This is not a geographic travel guide. It is symbolic language for the final convergence of destructive forces. The moment when all the lies align, when systems built on domination gather themselves for one last assertion of control. And in the middle of this, unexpectedly, comes a quiet warning from Christ himself. Behold, I am coming like a thief. Blessed is the one who stays awake and keeps his garments. This is not about literal sleeplessness. It is about awareness, about not being lulled by false peace, about keeping one's inner integrity intact. For you, tonight, this awareness does not mean tension. It means trustful attentiveness, the kind that allows you to sleep because you know the night is held. The seventh bowl is poured into the air, and a loud voice from the throne says, "It is done." Lightning flashes, thunder roars, and there is a great earthquake, unlike any before. The great city is split, and Babylon the Great is remembered before God, to be given the cup of judgment. Hailstones fall, immense and crushing, and yet the language remains symbolic, describing the complete dismantling of what once seemed untouchable. Babylon, in Revelation, is not just a city. It is a system, a way of organizing the world around greed, exploitation, luxury built on suffering, and the illusion that wealth can replace righteousness. John is later shown her fall in detail, described as a richly adorned woman, drunk on power, seated on a beast, admired by kings and merchants alike. But here, in the bowls, her end is announced with finality. The structures that thrived on injustice cannot last forever. They collapse, not because of random disaster, but because they are hollow at their core. As you rest, you can let this part of the vision feel like a long, slow exhale, the release that comes when something false finally gives way. The fall of Babylon is not meant to frighten the faithful. It is meant to free them, to say that the world you see is not the final arrangement, that the forces which exhaust and exploit are not eternal. Revelation will later describe kings mourning, merchants weeping, sailors watching smoke rise from the fallen city, grieving not her injustice, but the loss of profit and luxury. This detail matters, because it exposes misplaced love. They do not weep because people suffered. They weep because their wealth is gone. In contrast, heaven rejoices, not in destruction itself, but in the end of oppression, in the vindication of truth. So let this block settle quietly in you, not as violence, but as resolution. Think of it like an old, decaying structure finally being dismantled so that something healthier can exist in its place. The noise of collapse does not last forever. Afterward comes space, air, and the possibility of rebuilding on firmer ground. Your breathing remains slow. Your body remains at rest. The images pass like a dream that knows it is nearing a turning point. Babylon falls. The bowls are emptied. The words "it is done" echo softly, not as threat but as completion. And beyond the collapse, beyond the smoke, something new is already waiting to appear. Something quieter, brighter, and more enduring than everything that has just passed. When you are ready, we will move forward again toward the closing scenes of the vision, where conflict gives way to clarity, and the long night of symbols opens into a dawn that does not fade. Block 8, the rider, the judgment, and the quiet end of conflict. Stay where you are, without effort, without expectation, letting the weight of your body sink naturally into rest. Because the vision now turns toward its resolution. And even though the imagery speaks of final confrontation, its deeper movement is toward stillness, toward the end of striving, toward the closing of a long and exhausting chapter of history. John looks again, and this time the sky itself is opened, not as a threat, but as an unveiling, as if a curtain is gently drawn back to reveal what has been present all along but hidden from view. A rider appears on a white horse, called Faithful and True, and he judges and makes war in righteousness. His eyes are like a flame of fire, not to burn indiscriminately, but to see clearly, to pierce illusion, to expose what has been hidden beneath appearances. On his head are many crowns, a quiet statement that all claims to power ultimately return to a single source. He has a name written that no one knows but himself, reminding you that even revelation leaves room for mystery, that not everything is reduced to human categories or explanations. He is clothed in a robe dipped in blood, a symbol that reaches backward to sacrifice rather than forward to violence, and his name is called the Word of God, the living expression of meaning, truth, and intention. The armies of heaven follow him, also on white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, not wielding weapons of chaos, but bearing the quiet authority of alignment with what is right. From his mouth comes a sharp sword, not held in his hand, but spoken, because in Revelation, the decisive power is truth itself, the word that names reality and ends deception. He strikes the nations, rules with justice, and treads the winepress of the fury of God's opposition to evil. Imagery that again draws on harvest language, on completion rather than cruelty. On his robe and on his thigh is written a name: King of Kings and Lord of Lords, not as a boast, but as a statement of final clarity, that no rival authority remains standing when truth is fully revealed. John then sees an angel standing in the sun, calling two birds to gather for what is described as the Great Supper of God, a stark reversal of the luxurious feasts of Babylon, a symbolic way of saying that prideful power ultimately feeds nothing, that what devours others is itself consumed by time and judgment. The beast and the kings of the earth gather to make war against the rider, but the outcome is not prolonged or uncertain. The beast is captured, along with the false prophet, and they are thrown into the lake of fire, a symbol of final removal, of destructive systems rendered permanently inoperative. The rest are slain by the sword that comes from the rider's mouth, again reinforcing that the decisive act is not brute force, but truth spoken into the heart of lies. The birds are filled with their flesh, completing the symbolic cycle, and the vision moves forward without lingering on suffering, because Revelation is never interested in spectacle for its own sake. Its purpose is to show that evil ends, that it does not regenerate endlessly, that it is not an eternal counterweight to good. Then John sees an angel coming down from heaven, holding the key to the abyss and a great chain. The dragon, the ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, is seized and bound for 1,000 years, thrown into the abyss and sealed there, so that he can no longer deceive the nations. Whether this number is taken literally or symbolically, its meaning remains the same. Deception is limited, restrained, interrupted. Lies do not reign forever. The noise quiets. The pressure lifts. John sees thrones, and those seated on them are given authority to judge. He sees the souls of those who are faithful, who did not worship the beast or receive its mark, and they come to life and reign with Christ. This is called the first resurrection, a way of describing vindication, the reversal of injustice, the honoring of those who remain true even when it costs them. Over these, the second death has no power, an assurance that faithfulness carries a permanence that suffering cannot erase. As you rest, you can let this scene feel less like a courtroom and more like a quiet restoration, like chairs being set in order after a long gathering, like a room returning to balance after a storm has passed through. Judgment here is not frantic. It is measured. It is not chaotic. It is conclusive. Things are placed where they belong, and what does not belong is removed. After the 1,000 years, the dragon is released for a short time, deceiving the nations once more, gathering them for a final conflict. This brief release serves a purpose in the vision. It shows that even after restraint, deception remains hollow, unable to create anything new, only able to repeat itself. Fire comes down from heaven and consumes the rebels, and the devil is thrown into the lake of fire, joining the beast and the false prophet, a final image of closure, not ongoing struggle. Then John sees a great white throne, and the one seated on it, from whose presence earth and sky flee away. This is not annihilation, it is transition. The old framework dissolves to make room for what comes next. The dead, great and small, stand before the throne, and books are opened, including the book of life. Each is judged according to what they have done, a sober reminder that lives matter, choices matter, love and cruelty matter. Death and Hades are thrown into the lake of fire, described as the second death, which again is symbolic language for the end of death itself. The paradoxical moment when the thing that swallowed everything is itself swallowed. Anyone whose name is not found written in the book of life is also thrown into the lake of fire. Imagery that has troubled readers for centuries, but which, in its symbolic context, speaks of separation from life, from light, from the presence of God, rather than gratuitous torment. Tonight, you do not need to resolve every tension in this imagery. You can allow the overarching movement to guide you. Conflict narrowing, deception ending, judgment completing its work, and the old world structure dissolving. The night grows quieter as the vision prepares to open into something new. Your breathing remains slow. Your body remains at rest. The long struggle that Revelation has named and traced now reaches its end, and in the space left behind, something astonishing and gentle is about to appear. Something that transforms everything that came before. Block 9. A new heaven, a new earth, and the descent of the city. Remain exactly as you are, letting the stillness deepen naturally, because now the vision passes through its final doorway, not into more struggle, not into louder scenes, but into renewal, into restoration, into an ending that feels like a beginning remembered rather than invented. John says that he sees a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth have passed away, and the sea is no more. A symbolic way of saying that chaos, instability, and restless division no longer define reality. This is not the destruction of goodness, but the clearing away of what was broken so that what is whole can finally breathe. Then John sees the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared like a bride, adorned for her husband. Notice the direction carefully. The city does not rise upward as an escape from the world. It descends. The future comes toward humanity. Hope moves downward into ordinary existence. God does not abandon creation. God renews Italiano. A loud voice declares from the throne that the dwelling place of God is now with humanity, that he will live with them, that they will be his people, and that God himself will be with them and be their God. This is the heart of the entire vision, the sentence toward which everything else has been moving. Separation ends, distance closes, the long ache between heaven and earth dissolves. The voice continues, saying that God will wipe away every tear from their eyes, that death will be no more. That mourning, crying, and pain will pass away, because the former things have gone. These words are not shouted. They are spoken like a promise made close to the ear, like reassurance given in the dark. Every tear, not only the ones seen by others, but the ones shed in silence, the ones swallowed, the ones forgotten by everyone else, none of them are beneath notice. The one seated on the throne says, "Behold, I am making all things new, not all new things, but all things new, transformed, healed, restored from the inside. He says, "Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true," grounding the vision again in language, in record, in something meant to be remembered and passed on. Then he says, "It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end." What was spoken earlier at the fall of Babylon now takes on a deeper meaning. Completion is not only judgment, it is renewal. To the thirsty, he promises the water of life freely, without cost. To the one who conquers, he promises inheritance, relationship, belonging. But then the vision also names what cannot enter this renewed reality. Cowardice that refuses truth, faithlessness that abandons love, violence that delights in harm, deception that feeds on lies. These are not arbitrary exclusions. They are descriptions of ways of being that cannot survive in a world defined by light. Darkness does not coexist comfortably with full dawn. An angel then comes to John, saying he will show him the bride, the wife of the Lamb, and carries him away in the spirit to a great, high mountain. From there, John sees the holy city descending again, shining with the glory of God, its radiance like a most rare jewel, clear as crystal. The city has a great, high wall with 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and on the gates the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. The city also has 12 foundations, and on them the names of the 12 apostles. This is not architectural trivia, it is symbolic continuity. The story that began with Israel and continued through the apostles is not erased, it is fulfilled. The city is described as a perfect cube, its length, width, and height equal, echoing the shape of the Holy of Holies in the ancient temple. This means that the entire city is sacred space. There is no inner sanctum restricted to a few. Holiness fills everything. Access is no longer limited. The walls are made of jasper, the city of pure gold, clear as glass. The foundations are adorned with every kind of precious stone, colors layered upon colors, like light refracted through water. The gates are pearls, each gate a single pearl, and the streets are gold, transparent as glass. These images are not about wealth. They are about beauty without corruption, value without exploitation, splendor without inequality. John 2 says something surprising. There is no temple in the city, because the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are its temple. There is no sun or moon needed to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp. This is not darkness replaced by artificial brightness, but light that comes from presence itself. The nations walk by this light, and the kings of the earth bring their glory into the city. Its gates are never shut, because there is no night there. Nothing unclean enters it, nothing false, nothing that twists love into harm. Only what is written in the Lamb is a book of life. This is not a threat, it is a description of harmony. A world finally aligned with its purpose cannot sustain what contradicts that purpose. As you lie here, let this city be less a structure and more a feeling. Openness, safety, belonging, light that does not glare, beauty that does not exhaust. Imagine streets where there is no fear, gates that never close, light that never fades, presence that never withdraws. The long story of Revelation now slows, almost completely, resting in images of peace. The battles are over, the accusations are silenced. The throne no longer faces opposition, and the vision prepares to end, not with mystery unresolved, but with invitation. Locked in, the river of life, the tree, and the last word of grace. Remain exactly as you are, allowing the calm you have reached to deepen naturally, because the vision has now arrived at its final movement, not as a conclusion that snaps shut, but as a wide and open stillness, the kind that feels like coming home rather than reaching an ending. John has shown one last image, and it is not loud. Not urgent, not demanding, but flowing, gentle, endlessly sustaining. He sees a river, the river of the water of life, clear as crystal, flowing directly from the throne of God and of the Lamb, moving through the center of the city like a quiet pulse, like breath through a living body. This water does not surge or overwhelm. It does not threaten or destroy. It simply moves, steadily, endlessly, carrying life wherever it goes. Throughout the vision, water has often symbolized chaos, danger, or instability. But here it is, transformed completely, becoming pure clarity, nourishment without risk, refreshment without fear. A sign that all restlessness has finally been healed. On either side of this river stands the tree of life, rooted deeply, yet reaching outward, bearing 12 kinds of fruit and yielding its fruit every month. A rhythm of abundance that never fails, never exhausts itself, never withholds what is needed. This image quietly reverses the oldest loss in the biblical story, when access to the tree of life was cut off and guarded. Here, nothing is guarded, nothing is restricted. Life is offered freely and continuously. The leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations, not only for individuals, not only for a select few, but for the deep wounds of humanity itself, for histories scarred by violence, division, fear, and pride. Healing is no longer occasional or partial. It becomes the atmosphere in which everything exists. John is told that there is no longer any curse, no lingering shadow from what once went wrong. The throne of God and of the Lamb stands at the center of the city, not distant, not elevated beyond reach, but present, integrated into daily life. His servants serve him, not under pressure, not driven by fear, but in closeness and trust. They see his face, an intimacy that was once impossible, and his name is written on their foreheads, a final answer to every competing mark, every false claim of ownership. Identity is settled. Belonging is complete. There is no longer night, no longer darkness that conceals or threatens, no longer cycles of fear returning with the setting sun, because the Lord God gives them light, and that light does not fade, flicker, or demand maintenance. The angel speaks again, saying that these words are trustworthy and true, grounding the entire vision one final time in reliability, in something that can be leaned on when everything else feels uncertain. The Lord, the God who inspired the prophets, has sent his messenger to show what must take place, not to alarm, but to reassure, not to unsettle, but to anchor hope. Then the voice of Christ himself is heard once more, saying, "Behold, I am coming soon," not as a threat hanging over time, but as a promise that presence will not be delayed forever, that absence is not the final condition of reality. Blessed is the one who keeps the words of the prophecy of this book, a blessing not for anxiety, but for attentiveness, for holding on to truth without distortion or fear, overwhelmed by what he sees and hears. John falls down, but is gently corrected, reminded that worship belongs only to God, that no angel, no vision, no messenger replaces the source itself. He is told not to seal up the words of the prophecy, because the time is near, because the message is meant to remain open, accessible, spoken into the world rather than hidden away. Revelation ends as it began, with writing, with testimony, with the belief that truth, when shared, can strengthen those who are tired. The vision speaks with quiet clarity. Let the one who does wrong continue in that path. Let the one who lives rightly continue to do so. Let the holy remain holy. This is not indifference. It is the calm confidence of truth unveiled. Nothing is forced. Nothing is hidden. Reality stands revealed, and each path shows where it leads. Christ speaks again, saying he is the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end, holding all of time within himself. Blessed are those who wash their robes, who align themselves with life, because they will have access to the tree of life and will enter the city through its open gates, not sneaking in, not hiding, but welcomed. Outside remain those who cling to deception and violence, not because they are hated, but because they refuse the life being offered, refusing light for darkness, truth for illusion. And then comes the softest, most enduring invitation in the entire book, spoken not once, but echoed. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." And let the one who hears say, "Come." Let the one who is thirsty come. Let the one who desires take the water of life without price. There is no urgency in this call, no pressure, no threat, only openness, patience, and generosity. Come, drink, rest, live. John closes with a warning not to add to or take away from the words of the prophecy, not to instill fear, but to protect the story's integrity, to preserve its meaning from distortion. Then he affirms the testimony one last time and answers the promise of Christ with a simple response. Amen. Come, Lord Jesus. And the final sentence of Revelation does not speak of judgment or fire, but of grace. The grace of the Lord Jesus be with all, without exception, without condition. Let that final word rest with you now. Grace, surrounding, sustaining, holding. The river continues to flow. The tree continues to bear fruit. The light does not fade. The gates remain open. And the invitation does not expire. You do not need to stay awake to guard this ending. It is already complete. You are free to let your breathing slow even further, to release the last threads of thought, and to drift fully into sleep, knowing that the long vision that began on a lonely island has resolved into life, healing, and rest without end. The night is quiet, the story is finished, and you may rest.